How's it going, Laser Bruce's up, Bobby Sixkilla, and welcome to a game called Quantum Suicide. Now, as has become the staple of this channel, this is a visual novel, mystery, puzzle type, multiple choice, multiple ending type deal, which has pretty much become the mainstay of the channel. I assume most of you will have heard of it anyway. It's been coming for a while, we've been looking forward to it for a while, and it finally came out yesterday, I think, or last night. So without further ado, let's just jump in and see what it's all about. Put everything in English so I can understand it.
Sunshine doing this morning?
Is it fully voice acted? Does that mean I'm not doing any voice acting?
Still unconscious, but their vitals are stable.
That makes my life easier.
Our patient will wake up today.
Does this mean that I won't get to lovingly sponge bathe them anymore? I've enjoyed it so much.
Beatrix, what you do on your own time is none of my concern.
I don't really know what to expect here, except for lots of time mischief.
Nicholas, look!
As is a staple in a lot of these games.
Water, Beatrix, water. I'll go fetch some while you perform the basic cognitive tests.
What? Where am I? I cleared my throat a few times. An unfamiliar voice emanated from my parched throat in a harsh croak. Okay, so only protagonist isn't voiced.
It's about time you woke up. Good morning. Let me be the first to welcome you aboard the Everett. My name is Beatrix Vogel. I'm one of the medical officers here.
I'm sorry, but what's going on? Wait, the Everett? This is the Everett. The last thing I remember, I was in the escape pod and... I paused. I didn't remember much of anything. Only brief snatches of conversation and the odd glimpses of mathematical equations, but none of it made sense.
Whoa, slow down, sailor. The captain will debrief you once we've given you a clean bill of health. But until then, you're not going anywhere.
You have blonde hair. I reached for Beatrix's golden hair, which poured over her shoulders in gentle curls.
I know. Glorious, isn't it?
I've never seen blonde hair before. Can I touch it?
I guess I've still got it. Why don't we go ahead and find out how you're doing before you try to ravish me, though? All right?
I nodded at her weakly, head woozy from the movement.
Perfect. So, first question. How many fingers am I holding up?
None, you don't even have your hands up.
Well, someone doesn't have a sense of humor. Perhaps it was damaged by your concussion.
Not
good with comebacks either, I see. Moving on.
Definitely not.
Okay, next question. Are you a man or a woman?
I think that's pretty obvious.
It's to test your basic recall. Just play along.
Nice. Man?
That you are, sailor. And I must say, you are quite the catch.
I'll go on you.
What? As a medical professional, it was my sacred duty to give you a once-over while you were unconscious. Don't judge me.
Water, as requested.
Ah, Nicholas, excellent timing. This is my extremely handsome little brother Nicholas.
He also has blonde hair. Nicholas nodded modestly. I rose to a sitting position in the bed and accepted the proffered glass of water, downing it in only a few greedy gulps.
Nice to finally meet you. My sister already beat me to it, but I'm Nicholas Vogel, Beatrix's younger brother. She's only 2 minutes older than me.
Twins, huh?
She's never let me forget it.
It's all right. Don't be afraid to stare. We're well aware that we won the genetic lottery.
Nicholas rolled his eyes at his sister in mock exasperation. I'll try to contain myself.
Nicholas, this is,
You didn't even ask our patient his name. Honestly, Beatrix.
Whoops.
Beatrix lifted her shoulders in a dismissive shrug before turning her attention to me. I guess I get to name myself.
What is your name?
Okay, Jordan is the default, so we'll stick with that. Jordan.
Well, it's nice to see you awake at last.
Thanks. With pleasantries now out of the way, Nicholas turned his full attention to me. As he held his fingers firmly against my wrist to take my pulse, he shined a torch in my eyes, and with his free hand. Its bright beam left black and green spots lingering in my field of vision long after the torch had been extinguished.
How are you feeling?
Pretty good, actually, like I've had a really good night's sleep.
Well, you have been unconscious for 4 days, so I guess it stands to reason that you'd feel that way.
4 days?
We picked you up a few days ago. Your pod was drifting through space when we recovered it. Pupils are reacting normally. There's no apparent loss of fine motor skills, and you seem coherent. Are you experiencing any dizziness or nausea?
As coherent as I ever am, which isn't that much. No, I feel fine.
Of course you do. We've been slaving over you for the last 4 days. I hope you're grateful.
Don't mind her. I think she secretly enjoyed having an actual patient for once. Are you currently experiencing any other symptoms?
Something to do, huh? The lights in here hurt my eyes, and I can't seem to remember much of anything. I know who I am and how to speak, and I could talk your ear off about the theoretical impossibility of perpetual energy, but everything else is fuzzy?
That'll be the concussion. Give it time.
By the way, Beatrix, I've taken the liberty of informing the captain that our patient is awake. She'll be down here any moment to debrief him.
We haven't even cleared.
She said it was top priority. Given everything that's happened this last week, well, you can understand why.
There's no need to defend her, Nicholas. We both know whose fault this really is.
Not now, Beatrix.
Eyebrows furrowed, Nicholas leaned in towards me. When he spoke, and his deep voice was hushed.
Before the captain arrives, I want to warn you not to...
Nicholas.
I'm sorry.
Captain on deck? A woman with an undeniable air of authority and wearing a tightly wound braid marched into the room. Ignoring everybody else, she glared at me with cold, steely eyes. The photos of my heart skipped a beat.
So, you're awake at last. Nicholas, report.
A pained expression briefly flickered over Nicholas's features before he composed himself and turned to face the captain.
All vital signs are normal and stable for now. I'd like to run a few more tests to be sure, but all things considered, it appears we've picked up quite the healthy specimen.
How's his memory?
As of right now, not very reliable, but I believe it will return shortly.
You're both dismissed.
Captain, we've been...
Save it, Beatrix. You can brief me later. Out.
Let's go, Beatrix.
Beatrix and Nicholas departed, leaving me alone with two strangers. I deducted from their brief conversation that the individual with the dark hair and stormy eyes was the captain. But the other figure remained in the dimly lit corner of the room, her hands neatly folded together.
My name is Kimiko Yukimori. I am the captain of the Everett. You are currently aboard my ship. Now,
What's going on?
let me make this crystal clear. I will ask the questions and you will answer them. Understood?
I guess so. I nodded, unsure how else to respond to his sudden hostility.
Why are you here?
I
What do you know about the Deletion Game?
have no idea what you're talking about.
I see. That's a shame. I had hoped you would cooperate.
I think we're cooperating, we just don't know. I'm trying to, I honestly don't have a clue what's going on here. The last thing I remember, I was inside the shuttle and then, come to think of it, that's all I can remember.
You're wearing our uniform. We're light years away from any habitable planet in deep space. I don't know how or why you did it, and quite frankly, right now I don't care. But you need to fix whatever you did to our AI this instant.
I can't help you. There's been some sort of misunderstanding. All I can tell you is that my name is Jordan, I was born on that shuttle, and I've lived there in my entire life. I didn't even know there were other people still out here.
What did you do to our artificial intelligence system?
What?
Maybe this will spark your memory. I?
Yes, Captain.
Oh, awesome, your name's I, just like from I, the Somnium Files. Like Iba. The heretofore unidentified person emerged from the darkened corner of the room, advanced towards me, and bowed deeply. Her soft features, glittering hair, and pleasant smile put me at ease to the point that I was only slightly perturbed. When I realized I could faintly see through her, she was a hologram. Wow, I always knew that our shuttle's interface was a modified version of something far more advanced, but we never had the spare power necessary to use the AI. This is genius. Is she hard light or soft light?
Hello, my name is I. I am the artificial intelligence unit aboard the military spacecraft designated the Everett. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Nice to meet you too.
As to your question, I am a soft light hologram. I am unable to interact with the physical world at this time.
Sorry to hear that.
The Everett's mechanical engineer, Yoshiki Sasaki, is currently working on developing a hard light application for me.
Amazing. I'd love to get the chance to take a look at your programming sometime.
That's not going to happen anytime soon. As of right now, you are still considered a security risk. Answer me truthfully. Do you wish harm upon anyone on this ship?
Only you, because you're being a dick. What? No.
Very well then.
I am sorry to interrupt, Captain, but I have just received new information about this person.
Explain.
Captain, there is a translocator chip bearing the Everett's ID signature inside this person.
Pulling up his personnel profile.
Name: born 9th June 2092. Parents:
97.
Patrick and Deborah. First-generation researchers studying quantum theory. Departed Earth aboard the Everett, year 2092. Departed the Everett on 12th December 2098 in a shuttle. All three presumed deceased. I was unable to retrieve this information earlier because the chip's firmware had not been updated for several decades. It was not until I was in closer proximity that I was able to sense the signal.
What? So you're telling me that our intruder is actually the child of first-generation researchers?
Affirmative.
The captain huffed. She paced around the small room for a few moments, her face the picture of concentration. Before long, she resumed her questioning. Except this time her voice took on a curious tone, devoid of its earlier abrasiveness.
Where are your parents? Did something happen to them?
I don't remember.
That's a shame. From what Ai has told me over the years, your parents were quite the scientists. Brilliant, yet some of their theoretical models were considered...
Insane?
I was going to say impossible.
I don't remember much, but from what little I do remember, I'd say their theories are completely beyond the realm of possibility.
Well, you've got your whole life to figure that out. If we all work together, I'm sure you'll manage it somehow. Provided we can get out of this mess first.
We?
Welcome aboard the Everett. As of this moment, you are officially a part of the Everett's crew. Prepare a room for our guest here.
At least she's not being a dick anymore.
Yes, Captain.
For now, you will not be permitted to leave your quarters. Do you understand?
Yes, Captain.
Respecting your superior officers already. I might come to like you yet. I apologize for my hostility, but this is my crew, my ship. It is my sworn duty to protect them and our mission at all costs. I needed to determine whether you were friend or foe.
And what have you decided?
I'll let you know once I've made up my mind. Now, come along.
Okay.
I'll escort you to your quarters. Please follow me.
I groaned as I slid out of bed and shifted my weight onto my weakened limbs. My knees ached and I began to feel lightheaded as soon as I stood up. The captain grasped my arm in a steady grip and led me out of the medical bay into a cramped metal corridor. After guiding me down a series of hallways for what seemed like an eternity, in my debilitated state, I was relieved when we finally stopped in front of a hexagonal door. Upon our arrival, the door slid open with an audible beep. I stepped inside and took a look at my new living quarters. Although the room was tidy and functional, I was surprised to find that I had mixed feelings about it. While it was certainly more spacious than my personal quarters on the shuttle, it felt oddly impersonal. Its only redeeming feature was the sprawling window that stretched the length of the room, offering an incredible view of deep space.
Here we are. I hope that you find these accommodations acceptable.
It's very nice. I get the feeling I know the answer already, but what if I don't?
Then I suggest you write up a formal complaint. Unfortunately for you, however, we don't plan to set up a complaint desk anytime soon. So keep it under your hat.
She surprised me with a smirk.
Please try to find a way to pass your time in here productively. Perhaps work on getting more of your memory back.
Good idea.
There are also some manuals and handbooks covering safety protocols, and basic ship information that you might be interested in, if you wish to learn more about the Everett during your confinement period. I will send someone to bring you food. But whatever you do not leave this room.
Okay. Before I could answer, the captain left without so much as a backward glance, leaving me standing awkwardly in an unfamiliar room, on an unfamiliar ship filled with unfamiliar faces. Well, at least it's nicer than a prison cell.
The ship's prison cell actually looks very similar, except the walls are painted a different color, there are no windows, and it locks from the outside.
Well, the window's the best bit, really. Huh, wait, where did you come from?
As we previously discussed, I am a hologram. I am intimately connected with the entire ship and can manifest myself at will in any area.
Sounds nice.
Do forgive my sudden intrusion. The captain has given me strict orders to keep you under surveillance.
At least we got someone to talk to. Hey, it's 20 degrees in here. That's not bad. Of course she did.
Is there anything that you immediately require?
Can you help me recover my memories?
Unfortunately, I cannot. I am merely the holographic user interface for the onboard AI system.
But if we chat, you know.
Restoring or modifying human neurological functions currently falls beyond the purview of my programming.
I was only kidding. There's no need to be so hard on yourself.
If you'll excuse me, I have other duties to perform. I will maintain surveillance on you at all times, however, so please do not try to leave the confines of this room.
You got it.
I will return shortly. Please, make yourself comfortable in the meantime.
With a flicker, I vanished from the room and I was left alone once more. I ambled around the room for about 10 minutes, inspecting various items, flipping through books, but nothing managed to alleviate the deep sense of unease gnawing at my insides. Finally succumbing to boredom, I lay down on the bed and admired the stars framed by the window. You'd think that a lifetime spent observing stars and galaxies as they drift past your window would diminish their beauty, but it doesn't. I'm not sure whether I watched the universe sail by for minutes or hours, but before I knew it, I'd already fallen asleep. Maybe that's what I need.
Yahoo!
It'll help me sleep. Huh? My eyes dragged open, straining against the mild light. A young man stood over me, his grinning face lit up like a kid celebrating his birthday. The unexpected visitor was wearing an outlandish green bow tie and with a pair of pink pair of braces. I suddenly realized that he was the first member of the crew I'd seen out of uniform. He sure made a hell of a first impression.
Good morning, sleepyhead.
Good morning?
It's not even morning. Why would you say that?
Because you said it. What?
I'm just playing with you. Well, that being said, it's dun-dun-na-na, dinner time. I brought you your dinner. Ta-da!
The man gestured extravagantly to the meal set up on the nearby table. I grimaced as soon as I saw the meager amount of food on the plate.
Well, I thought it would suck to have to eat alone. So I got permission from the good old Cap to let me keep you company while you eat.
Thanks, that's very kind of you. Is this the amount of food we're rationed?
Kinda.
Kinda?
Well, originally there was more food on your plate, but you were still asleep when I came to bring it to you, so I kinda, sorta ate a whole bunch of it.
I guess I'm technically a prisoner. Can't really complain, can I?
Sure you can. I mean, the captain will ignore everything you say.
Yeah, I figured that.
But you can give it a shot if you want to.
Why waste my breath? The energetic man made himself comfortable on the nearby sofa as I began to eat. I shoveled the food down with my fork, subconsciously reminding myself to savor it, but failing miserably as my insatiable hunger urged me onward.
Oh, I completely forgot. My name's Yoshiki, by the way. Yoshiki Sasaki. I'm the mechanical engineer and a Gemini. I'm 21 and a half. I love beans, building stuff, and mischief.
And long walks on the beach. Yeah, I don't need your dating profile, come on. That's quite the introduction. Let's see, my name's Jordan and I guess I like extended periods of silence. In another life, I think I might have been a librarian.
Well, that sounds extremely boring. No offense.
Boring, yet oh so peaceful. Even though I cleaned every last morsel off my plate, I still felt ravenous, so I ate him. So are you allowed to tell me anything that's going on? I know I'm on the Everett, but apart from that, I got no idea what's going on.
Oh, you don't know?
No what?
I probably shouldn't say. The captain would kill me.
She seems like the type, yeah. I promise I won't tell.
Really?
Really, really. Now spill the beans.
Okay. Just promise me you'll remain calm while I tell you.
That's not a good sign. I nodded, eager to learn more. Yoshiki cast a hesitant glance in my direction before continuing.
When we picked you up, the AI system went on the fritz and started informing us that we'd exceeded the Everett's crew capacity, in light of the amount of food resources we still had on board.
Fair enough.
These big red alarms went off and everything. Lights for alarms that I didn't even know existed.
So, how do we get more resources?
That kinda isn't the problem.
I threw Yoshiki a questioning look.
When this happened, I recognized that there weren't enough resources for the crew currently aboard the Everett.
Yeah?
Instead of suggesting that we acquire more resources, however, The system determined that the best way to correct such an imbalance
Was to kill someone?
was to decrease the number of people on board.
Yeah. For a moment I sat there in stunned silence. Yoshiki bit his lip, his eyes consciously avoiding my gaze. Does that mean...
Yeah. The AI sentenced one of our crew members to death. Dr. Andreas Gunther Vogel. He was a good man.
He deserved much better than the brutal end he got. A bitter smile tugged at the corner of Yoshiki's mouth.
He used to give me lollipops when I visited him for a checkup as a kid. Even when we ran out, he still mimed giving me one every time. And I would pretend to eat it. He told me that if I concentrated really hard, I'd still be able to taste it, that my mouth would remember the flavor. I know it was silly, but...
Yoshiki's words were faint in my ear. I felt an intense wave of nausea hit me as I realized the truth. It's my fault. Sweet science, it's all my fault. I'm responsible. If I'd never come aboard, then that man wouldn't have had to die.
No! Well, yes, but no. You can't think about it like that. There's something wrong with AI's programming that's causing her to behave like this. See, Dr. Vogel is dead, but after it killed him, the AI system didn't reset to acknowledge that we were at safe levels again.
Well, they're still killing people. What are you trying to say, Yoshiki?
In 4 days, someone else will die.
And the killing game
Not
begins.
the best news to wake up to, huh? So you might actually be responsible for more than one death. Don't beat yourself up about it, though.
Never know, they might pick me next, and then it won't be a problem.
No one could have predicted this.
How does it work, though? How does the AI determine who dies?
Well, I've probably said too much already. If the captain wanted you to know, she would have told you herself.
But I need to know.
I'm sorry. I can't. Oh, look at the time. I need to go wash my hair.
But your hair is already perfect. Look at it. It's beautiful. Zipping out of his seat, Yoshiki scooped up my plate and dashed out the door.
Doodles!
TTYL. My mind and body were numb. I couldn't believe what Yoshiki just told me. It seemed too cruel to be a joke, yet too horrifying to be true. One dead, in 4 days another would die. And I was to blame. I stared listlessly at the ceiling. I hadn't slept a single wink during the night. How could I possibly sleep when my thoughts were in such disarray? A sharp knock at the door brought me back to my senses. Before I could even sit up, the captain had entered my quarters. She was the very antithesis of my bedraggled appearance. Not a single hair in her braid was out of place. I, on the other hand, probably look exactly how I felt. Awful.
Good morning. I trust you slept well.
I didn't sleep at all, actually. Tell it to me straight, Captain. Am I responsible for Dr. Andreas Gunther Vogel's death? The burning question that had churned through my mind all night had tumbled out my mouth ungraciously.
What? Heavens, no.
Yoshiki told me that my arrival triggered something, and that someone would die again in 4 days' time.
That kid just can't keep his mouth shut, can he?
We just knocked on him.
What
We're a
Yoshiki
narc.
said is nothing you need to concern yourself with. In any case, you're currently not permitted to leave your quarters.
I don't want to be a narc. Nothing worse than a narc. I opened my mouth to protest, but it was cut short by the strange image of I phasing through the closed door into my room. The prim and proper I that I knew was gone, replaced with an uncanny look-alike whose toothy smile, red eyes, and unnaturally tilted head lent her a deeply unsettling appearance. The sinister new apparition utterly lacked her doppelganger's poise and friendly demeanor.
Oh, no. That won't do at all.
And she's called Di.
What do you want now, Di?
I'm dreadfully sorry, Captain, but I'm afraid that I simply can't permit you to keep this player locked up.
Player?
It wouldn't be a fair game if you kept one of the players from participating, especially considering the fact that you're all playing for your lives.
Oh, cool. You're that character.
Besides, I'm excited to see what our newest crew member will do. I has observed the others for so long that it wasn't that hard to predict how the results would turn out before. But now we have a wild card.
I must insist, Di. I still don't trust him enough to allow them to wander around the ship.
Unless you want me to pass judgment right now, you should let him wander. Remember, my game, my rules.
Yeah. Kimiko grunted acquiescence through clenched
Very
teeth.
well. You're free to leave your room and make yourself at home aboard the ship. Step out of line, however. I will hold you personally responsible.
Looking forward to it. Could someone please fill me in on what's happening? Why is I acting so differently from before?
Would you care to do the honors, Kimiko?
This is Dai. She's the corrupted program that's murdering my crew members in the name of saving resources.
Murder is such a strong word. I prefer to think of it as following my core directive. Unlike some other systems around here, I actually do my job instead of smiling pleasantly from the corner like a simpleton.
Do you mean I?
Of course!
Of course I do, that useless twit. I'm twice the artificial intelligence system she'll ever be. Wait, I don't understand. How are there two personalities? That should be impossible, shouldn't it?
I am a program that was created to ensure that we had enough resources to complete the mission, no matter the cost.
Oh, cool.
My code is at odds with the rest of the system, so I've taken over I to run the Deletion Game. We do, however, still share control of ship functions, which means that I can do things like this.
Lights above flickered once and then shut off, plunging Kimiko, Dai, and myself into darkness.
Turn the lights back on at once, Dai.
Don't tell me that our brave captain is afraid of the dark.
After a moment, the room brightened once more. So you're an AI system with a split personality.
I would rather be referred to as two separate AI systems that are forced to share a single interface.
If you can take over, then why aren't you in control of the interface at all times? Dai shrugged non-committally.
Sometimes a girl needs to wash her hair, you know.
It doesn't even make sense.
Enough! If you must take part, then you should explain the rules of the ongoing game, Dai.
Gladly. First of all, welcome to the Deletion Game. As the name implies, it's a game designed to determine which lucky crew member gets deleted. This round of the Deletion Game started a few days ago, so you'll have to work really hard in order to catch up with your competitors.
Just get on with it.
I made this cute little video to explain it. Take a look.
You got it. The captain handed me a tablet, and a film started playing. Clicking a mouse or pressing a button key will skip the Deletion Game movies. They're playable from your computer menu afterwards. I don't want to skip it. Let's watch. And then it'll be time to wrap it up, probably. Make 10 is played with 10 people. Each player is given a card numbered 1 to 10. Okay. Each player should transact with others to make 10. If you make 10, you are safe. Okay. The player with the smallest remaining card will lose. Unless another player has no cards, then the person with no cards will lose. There are 3 types of transactions. Only 1 transaction per unique couple. Combine, trade, give. Combine with other players to make 10. Okay. Once combined with a player, all future transactions must be performed together. Oh, that sucks. Trades are used to swap cards with another player. Trade? Okay, I'll give you my 10 cards so that I'm safe. So that I'm not safe. Players can give their cards to others. Each transaction takes place at a terminal. There is 1 primary terminal. Primary terminal controls the transaction. Remember, these cards are digital, so there's no way to verify whether a person is telling the truth about their card number. Oh. Okay. You will not be told your final score until judgment occurs and the loser is revealed. Oh, shit. Good luck. Well, that sounds confusing. I'm sure we'll figure it out. Somehow. Di suddenly assumed a more authoritative and professional tone that clashed with their previously flippant attitude.
The name of the game is Make 10. At the start of the round, players receive a digital card numbered from 1 through 10 that is tied to their personal biometric data.
Cool.
This number is a secret, known to you and you alone, unless you choose to share this information with someone else. In order to win the game, you must team up with other players to make exactly the number 10. No higher, no lower. Exactly 10. There are 3 options at your disposal to help you make 10 with other players. These are combine, trade, and give. These transactions
Saw
are
that in your
performed by
movie.
having the parties involved place their hands on the designated terminals.
Which I've assembled from parts of existing computer consoles.
Each transaction consists of 1 primary terminal and 1 or more secondary terminals. Primary terminals control the transaction, determining which action, combine, trade, or give, will be undertaken. Secondary terminals, however, are passive. They have no control over the action taken by the individual stationed at the primary terminal. Combining allows you to add your card value to another player's in order to reach a higher combined value. Once
I
those
get it, I
cards
get
have
it.
been combined, however, any future transactions require the approval of both parties.
That's annoying.
For example, if you have a 4 and your partner has a 5, you can combine them to make 9. If you then want to partner with the player holding the 1 in order to make 10, all 3 players must place their hands on the panels provided to authorize the transaction.
That makes sense, but does that mean they carry over into the next round?
Trading allows 1 card
I
to
assume
be
not.
swapped for another. Trades can only be performed by individual card holders, not by those who've already combined with the team to make a higher card value. A person cannot trade with another party who does not have a card to give. Giving allows 1 party to give their card to another, receiving nothing in return. Giving cards is also restricted to individual players. Giving a card to another player results in the card donor's score being reduced to 0 and renders them unable to partake in any other transactions.
So no one's gonna do that then.
Unless they receive a card as a gift from another player. The recipient of the gift has the option to choose which card they wish to use in future transactions. Alternatively, they can opt to combine their cards together at a single terminal. Any person who fails to make 10 with the other players will lose. If more than 1 person hasn't managed to make 10, then the player holding the lowest number will be declared the loser. Having no card at the end of the judgment period results in an automatic score of 0, and will place lower than those who haven't made 10. In the event that there is more than 1 person without a card, the loser will be chosen at random from between those players. The game will run for 5 days. Transactions may only be performed on the last day. All transactions must be finalized before 1,000 hours on the last day, at which time judgment will occur.
1800 hours. So, do we have dinner before or after the transactions are finalized?
Judgment will reveal the final scores, and then the loser will be punished in whatever way I see fit. And remember, there is no way to verify whether the other players are lying or telling the truth. Nevertheless, players cannot guarantee their own safety without teaming up with others, unless they start the game with the 10 card. Need me to repeat?
No.
Fantastic! Now, Captain, I'm going to have to ask you to shuffle
Cable.
off so that I can tell what their card number is.
I understand.
Kamiko nodded briskly and walked out of the room, leaving me alone with the creepy hologram. So what's my card number then?
You have been assigned card number 5. You have 4 days remaining to decide who to ally
means it's only been going
yourself
for
with
1 day.
before the next crew member
He said it's
is
been going for
delivered.
multiple days.
I wish you well in the games. Fight hard!
Di tossed off a flippant 2-figure salute that felt uncomfortably cheery given the circumstances. In the blink of an eye, the malicious Di was replaced with the concerned face of
I
I.
am so sorry. There is nothing I can do to prevent Di from taking control of my interface.
Don't worry about it, I know it's not your fault.
And neither is it yours.
Pardon?
After cohabiting with the humans for such an extended period of time, I have developed a basic understanding of human psychology. You likely blame yourself for the deaths of the other crew members. Am I mistaken?
They saved me, but I've only brought them pain and suffering in return. How could I not blame myself for what's happening? I'm the reason this whole thing started in the first place.
No, you are not the reason. You are not the one killing crew members. That culpability lies solely with the program. Please, do not make yourself into the villain. Some of the Everett's personnel have already lost sight of the fact that it is the system they should be fighting, not each other.
Fight the system.
The captain is currently approaching your quarters. She is nearly at the door. Shall I open it?
Sure, go ahead. The captain jolted back at the sudden opening of the door, her hand still poised above the intercom button. As our gaze met, she abruptly moved her hand away as if somehow embarrassed at being caught in the act of doing something so mundane. Beside her stood a blonde-haired woman with a friendly demeanor. Alright, we're going to wrap this one up here because we are out of time for this episode. But it was a good introduction because we learnt about what the killing game in this game entails. So, we'll see what happens next, I suppose. Until then, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.